How to lower LP little a, or lipoprotein little a. This is Diamond Fernandez, your founder and director of the HeartFit Clinic. For those of you who don't know, we started this clinic many years ago, and when I got into the field of cardiac rehab, it was because of my father. He ended up with a heart attack at 38 years old, 42 years old. He had bypass surgery, and heart disease is in my family, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure I don't end up down that same path. And so, of course, I love helping. My father is one that comes into the clinic often, but thousands of others that we help prevent and reverse heart disease. And lipoprotein A happens to be a big inherent risk factor to heart disease. So how to lower LP little a? I've done a video on this before, but I want to expand on it a little bit more in detail. And so I actually had a high LPA, and this was about 6 months ago, actually a little bit more than 6 months ago, because I wanted to do this video to show. I ended up taking some key supplements just these two supplements to help lower LP little a. The first one was ribosine, and the next one was aronia berry. And so those are the two supplements I ended up having. You can buy them on our website, or you can call our clinic, we can give that to you, or at heartfitu.com is also the other website where we have our whole HeartFit University, is where we educate people on what's going on. But those are the two supplements I ended up taking, and I did that for 6 months. And I took those two supplements, and I found that I lowered my LPA by almost 50%, which was quite substantial. Actually, it was almost 50%. And anyway, the point is that this is what I lowered it, how I lowered it. Now, there's a lot of other things I might recommend, but those are the two things that I just did because I just want to do this on a preventative basis. I know that LP little a, lipoprotein A, is a big risk factor to heart disease. And so how I lowered LP little a, and I did this little test on the subject of one, is just myself, but I used the literature to look at that part of it, and I can get into the details of that when we go through more videos. Remember, arteries are muscles, not pipes, and the whole idea is to minimize the atherogenic properties of the atherogenic particles. Atherogenic means plaque causing. So these plaque causing particles like to go inside this lining of the arterial wall, right? And when it does go inside the lining of the arterial wall, when there's damage, it can then start to build a plaque process, and you can end up with fatty streaks and end up with different processes of atherosclerosis. And so it's very important to understand that arteries are muscles, not pipes. And when you look at how to lower LPA, it's also about lowering the atherogenic properties of these particles. And so that's why I used a little bit of the research out there to put these two and two together, and that's what I ended up doing. So if you have any questions, comments, observations, I welcome them below, but make sure you hit the subscribe button up above, and we continue to help you prevent and reverse heart disease and help you live happier, healthier, and longer.